Someone is speaking into a voice recorder. You don't know who they are, you don't know when they are. All you hear is a man's voice, calm, measured, exhausted, telling the story of two friends who changed everything and then destroyed everything. This science fiction film remains, to this day, one of the most mind-bending movies ever put on screen. Let's go back to the beginning, or at least what we're told is the beginning. Meet Aaron and Abe, two engineers with day jobs, ambition, and a garage full of half-finished ideas. They're part of a small group of 4, all engineers, all friends, spending their evenings and weekends trying to build something worth building. The plan, a device that could counteract the effects of gravity. But the group is fractured almost immediately. They argue about time, about money, about credit, about who's doing the real work and who's just along for the ride. 2 members, Philip and Robert, pursue their own direction. Aaron and Abe are left, and already you can feel the dynamic. Abe is the careful one, measured, controlled. He wants to do things right. Aaron is the restless one, impatient, impulsive. He wants to do things now. They are the perfect team. Working in Aaron's garage, they scavenge parts from old appliances. They're cutting costs at every turn, even pulling the catalytic converter from Abe's own car to extract the small amount of palladium it contains. What are they building exactly? An experimental electromagnetic device, a machine designed to manipulate the magnetic fields around superconducting materials. They're not even sure what it will do. That's important. They build it first, they understand it later. The first test, they place a small wobble toy, a Weeble, inside the machine, load it with argon gas, and switch it on. At first, nothing obvious happens. Then the machine shorts out. They've blown the batteries. They call it a night, a failed experiment. Or so they think. While the group assumes the experiment failed, Abe quietly keeps testing. He returns to the device alone and finds something that stops him cold. The Weeble toy from the earlier test is covered in a thick layer of biological protein buildup. He lets Aaron know, and they take the sample to a biologist, who explains to accumulate that much protein naturally would take 5 to 6 years. The toy was inside the machine for minutes. To confirm it, Abe places a mechanical watch inside the machine. When he takes it out, the watch has advanced by over 22 hours, even though only minutes passed in the real world. The machine is not speeding things up, it is trapping time inside itself, looping it, folding it back. If an object goes in at one end, it doesn't simply come out the other. It bounces back and forth, hundreds of times, living through the same stretch of time again and again, until finally it exits. They have just built a time machine. From here, nothing is simple. They could publish, they could call a scientist, they could tell someone. Instead, Aaron has a different idea. If you know what the stock market will do today, because you already lived today, you could go back to this morning and invest accordingly. The machine runs for approximately 6 hours. You step in, travel back 6 hours, step out. You have the entire day ahead of you, again, and you know exactly how it ends. They move their operation to a rented storage unit. They build a version of the machine large enough for a person to lie inside. It looks like a coffin. The comparison is not accidental. The rules they set for themselves are strict. Park both cars, stay in a hotel while your double lives out the day. Don't interact with anyone you know. Don't watch the news. Minimize your impact on the timeline. And above all, don't be seen. Because somewhere out there, a copy of you is going about your normal life, and the two of you must never meet. 2 versions of each man now exist simultaneously. This is where the paradoxes begin. It works. Their first day, they make money, real money. They go back again and again and again. Every morning, they step into the box. Every afternoon, they trade stocks they know will rise. Every evening, they come home richer. For a little while, it feels like genius. Then the cracks appear. Aaron's handwriting begins to deteriorate. Abe's ear starts bleeding. Neither of them mentions it for days. The machine is doing something to their bodies. They don't know what. They don't want to know. One evening at dinner, half joking, someone asks, "If you had complete power and complete immunity, what would you actually do with it?" Aaron says, almost laughing, he'd punch his boss in the face. Just once, just to know what it felt like, and then go back in time and stop himself, so there'd be no consequences. The table laughs, the moment passes, but Aaron doesn't forget it, because that's exactly what they have now, the ability to act, and then undo, to make choices with no consequences. Then Thomas Granger appears. Granger is the father of Abe's girlfriend, Rachel. He has been circling the edges of their project as a potential investor. He has no business being outside Aaron's house at 2 in the morning. He's sitting in a car, unshaven, disoriented. Aaron had seen him earlier that same day, clean-shaven, dressed for a dinner. They try to call him. When they get close, he collapses. He becomes unresponsive, comatose. He can barely speak his own name. The conclusion is unavoidable. Someone, at some point in the future, put Thomas Granger in the machine and sent him back. But neither Abe nor Aaron ever told Granger about the machine. So how does he know what it is? And who is the third person using it? The film never fully answers this. That's the point. The timeline is already beyond their control. Abe goes back to the storage facility, past their machine, past everything they built together. He opens a third storage room, one Aaron didn't know about. Inside is another machine, larger, already running. Abe built it in secret, a backup, a way to travel farther back in time, days, not hours, in case anything went wrong. He uses it. He goes back 4 days, far enough to reach a point before any of this started. Future Abe's plan: sedate his original self, put him to sleep, make sure he never runs the first experiment, erase the whole thing. He goes to find original Aaron, sitting on a park bench, taking notes, wearing an earpiece. But when Abe arrives, it isn't original Aaron sitting there, it's future Aaron. He's listening to recordings of their past conversations, a 3-second window of foresight for everything around him. Abe is overwhelmed, exhausted. He collapses. When he recovers, the 2 future versions of these men, battered, mistrustful, barely friends anymore, agree on one last shared mission. At a birthday party in their social circle, Rachel's ex-boyfriend walks in with a shotgun. The first time this happened, in whatever the original timeline was, no one stopped him in time. Now, Aaron wants to fix it. He goes back, again, and again, and again, 20, 30 times, until every second is perfect. Each loop, he listens through his earpiece to how the night unfolds. Each loop he adjusts, a word here, a position there, until he knows the room better than anyone in it, until he steps forward at exactly the right moment, disarms the gunman, and saves everyone. He becomes a local hero. This is the moment Aaron stops being a scientist with a discovery. He becomes something else entirely. In the aftermath, the 2 men stand at the edge of what they've become. Aaron wants to keep going, leave the country, start over somewhere new, use the machine to reshape the world, or at least his corner of it. Abe wants to stop, go back, undo, make the original experiment never happen. They haven't been able to agree on anything for weeks. Abe tells Aaron to leave, tells him not to come back, not to come near any of them. And then the film reveals its final piece of architecture. The man narrating this story, the voice recorder from the very first frame, is future Aaron. And he's not telling this story to us. He's telling it to original Aaron. He is handing his younger self everything he knows. What original Aaron does with that knowledge is the question the film leaves unanswered. And Abe's final words, spoken to no one in a city far from home, are 3 sentences. Every half meter, everywhere, and if you look, you will not find me. That is Primer, a film you have to watch twice to understand, and understand twice to feel. If this finally made Primer make sense, congratulations! You just survived one of cinema's hardest puzzles. Tell me in the comments, how many times did you have to watch this movie before it clicked? I read every single one. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. But stay with me just a little longer, because cracking the timeline is only the beginning. To truly understand the wreckage these two men left behind, we have to look past the boxes and into the ethics of the men inside them. I've invited our resident critic to deliver one final, haunting deep dive on the sole paradox of Primer.
So we've unraveled the boxes and the timelines. But why does Primer still feel like it's vibrating in our hands 20 years later? The brilliance of Carruth's script isn't the physics. It's the psychological horror of knowing. Look at the dinner scene again. When Aaron talks about punching his boss with complete immunity, he isn't just venting. He is admitting that the moment you can undo a choice, the morality of that choice evaporates. Most time travel movies worry about the grandfather paradox. Primer is worried about the soul paradox. If you can rehearse a conversation 30 times through an earpiece until it's perfect, are you even you anymore? Or are you just a recording playing back an optimized version of a human being? There's a tragic irony in how these two men fall apart. They start as a team scavenging parts from old appliances and siphoning palladium from a car's catalytic converter. True garage innovation. But by the end, they aren't even looking at each other. They're looking at versions of themselves that they've betrayed. Abe builds a failsafe machine in secret because he no longer trusts the man he calls his best friend. The box was supposed to be a tool for wealth. It became a cage for their paranoia. And then there's that ending, that haunting narration. When you realize future Aaron is talking to his younger self, handing him a how-to guide of their own destruction, it changes everything. It's not a warning to stay away. It's a manual for a man who has already decided to be a god. Abe's final words are perhaps the most chilling. Every half meter, everywhere. And if you look, you will not find me. He's gone into hiding inside the very timeline he helped create, a ghost in a world of his own making. In the end, Primer isn't warning us about time travel. It's warning us about second chances. It's a film that demands you watch it twice, not because the plot is a puzzle, but because the first time you watch it, you're looking at the machine. The second time, you're looking at the wreckage of a friendship. And that is the much harder thing to witness.